Hello and welcome to our second series on unbelievable World Cup moments. From headbutts to spitting, tears, and chilling moments, the World Cup has had it all. In part 1 of the video, we cover truly unforgettable moments and some embarrassing. How about we get right into the second part? This happened during the 1982 World Cup during a match between France and Kuwait. Let's put things in context. During the 80th minute of the match, France was already winning the match 3-1. Alain Giresse from the French team scored the 4th goal for his team. However, all of the Kuwaiti players immediately approached Soviet referee Miroslav Stupar in order to complain. They claimed that they heard a whistle and thought it was the referee stopping the game. For this reason, they stopped defending, and Giresse scored without opposition. The Sheikh decided to directly back his team. He left his seat wearing a traditional Arabic attire and entered the field to talk directly with Stupar and threaten to pull his team out of the field. After some discussion, the referee disallowed the goal. Of course, the French were furious, in a situation that is one of the weirdest scenes ever seen on a FIFA World Cup. Arguably the most chilling moment in World Cup history took place when Colombia's Andres Escobar was brutally murdered shortly after an infamous first-round elimination from the 1994 World Cup. The whole world was stunned. Let's roll it back. Colombia's World Cup hopes were high. They had finished top of their qualifying group and even beat Argentina 5-0 in the last qualifier match. They were pre-tournament favorites. After an eye-opening loss against Romania in their first group match, the South American hoped to recover for the second match against hosts USA, but they went down 2-1 with Escobar sticking the ball into his own net. Colombia won the third game against Switzerland, but that was not enough to advance. The dream was over. It got worse before it got better. 10 days later, with the World Cup still being played, the world was shocked by the news that Andres Escobar had been assassinated outside a dance club in Medellin under extraordinary circumstances. Reality and soccer finally got on the same page for Colombia. He was only 27 years of age at the time of his death, with reports later confirming a drug cartel was responsible for the murder after they lost huge gambling fortune because of the country's early World Cup exit. An estimated 120,000 people attended his funeral, and the world has never forgotten. The recent history of the World Cup is littered with heartbreaking penalty misses. Socrates in 1986, Chris Waddle and Stuart Pearce in 1990, and Asamoah Gyan in 2010 for starters, but there's one more that is often not talked about much, Diana Ross's during the opening ceremony of USA 94. As part of the opening celebrations, Ross was to perform before taking a penalty as she sang her top hit, I'm Coming Out. When the moment came, she lined up the penalty, took a stutter step like the best pros do, approached, then backpedaled for dramatic effect, and took another stutter step, and then finally shanked the ball so far to the left of the goal it looked like a pass to the corner flag. That miss alone was enough to live on in football folklore. But the cruel gods had one more treat. The goal itself was rigged to split apart when she scored, as if her shot, in its power and fury and accuracy, exploded it. The organizers never thought for a moment, what if she misses? In the end, it was a spectacular fail. Did we also mention all this happened before a crowd of nearly 70,000 fans and the then newly elected President Bill Clinton? The eccentric shot stopper is legendary in Colombia. His style of play was unique. His bizarre character had earned him the nickname El Loco, or the Crazy One, as he had a tendency to come high up the pitch, even dribbling the ball at times, forcing his defense forward and making Colombia a more attacking side. But during the 1990 World Cup, his style of play cost his team badly. The game ended 0-0 after 90 minutes. Extra time began, and midway through, 40-year-old striker Roger Milla opened the scoring for the African side. With Colombia chasing an equalizer, Higuita decided to attempt one of his bizarre dribbles while well out of his goal. He instead coughed up possession to Milla, the old man of Cameroon. The African nation's star man took his chance and scored, subsequently serving the world one of the World Cup's greatest celebrations ever by the corner flag. The goal gave Cameroon a 2-0 lead, and even though Colombia pulled one back, they were eliminated. Somehow the incident didn't deter Higuita from more bizarre behavior. He missed the 1994 World Cup, but returned to perform the legendary scorpion kick during the 1995 friendly with England. Now that was something. On June 24, 1990, a high-voltage match took place at the iconic San Siro Stadium as former West Germany and European champions and tournament favorites Holland met each other. It was to be a classic match, but I turned out to be a volatile one. The fierce rivalry between the two countries has deep roots in the Second World War, and it came into play on the day. After rolling the ball for a few minutes or so, Voller and Rene Higuita were involved in an ugly altercation. First, in this visual sequence in question, there's Voller walking contemplatively, hands on his waist, after being fouled by Rijkaard just as the latter, angry at being shown a yellow card, runs in from behind him to spit in his hair. A few minutes later, in a free kick, Voller went to the ground trying to avoid colliding with the onrushing goalkeeper, but Rijkaard rushed to Voller, who was still on the ground, and twisted his ear and stamped on his foot while castigating him for diving. The duo got sent off. Rijkaard, for the second time, spat on Voller while walking off. West Germany went on to win the match before winning the final, beating Argentina. On the same day, West Germany and Holland clashed, and unimpressive Argentina knocked out favorites Brazil in a match that was later filled with controversy. Although Argentina was the defending champions, they had struggled through the group stage, finishing behind Cameroon and Romania, but advanced as the highest-ranked third-place finisher. Brazil, meanwhile, topped their group, winning all three matches. During the clash between the two South American giants, Brazilian defender Branco helped keep Diego Maradona in check, but during a pause in play, Branco drank from a water bottle handed to him by a member of the Argentinian staff. He later complained that he began feeling drowsy and was unable to keep up with Maradona, who completed a brilliant run with a pass to set up Claudio Caniggia for the winning goal. Argentina eventually advanced all the way to the final, where they fell to West Germany 1-0. Now that was as bizarre as it can get. We hope you enjoyed part 2 of unbelievable World Cup moments compiled by GOALAZZIO. Did we leave out any shocking moments? Let us know in the comments, and as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.